Hi, welcome to Accessibility with Meg. This is Meg, and today we are going to learn a little bit about the AODA law. Now, AODA is Accessibility for Ontarians with Disability Act, and this act you can find under the ontario.ca/laws website. So we are on the Ontario website, the ontario.ca, with e-laws. And this is what it looks like. You have a search area where you can search for the particular act or anything that you're looking for, the different laws that apply. You can also look for it here. You can browse alphabetically for it and look for it here. Now for AODA, I would just click A, and you can find it right here, right? Now, the AODA is the act. The actual rules live in the Integrated Accessibility Standards Regulation, or the IASR. This is regulation or regulation 191/11. Within this regulation is where you will find the actual rules for accessibility. Now, digital accessibility falls under Part 2, Information and Communication Standards. So let's click here and see what we have in there. Okay, so this is what we see here. And if you look at this, you can go in and read about this. And you'll see all of the information right here that you need. I'm going to just summarize what is written and what I've understood from this regulation. Now, what it covers is that digitally, now all websites and web applications, digital documents like PDFs, Word, PowerPoint, etc., web-based applications, any web-based applications, any public-facing web content published after January 1st, 2012. All of these must conform to accessibility standards, and more specifically, the International Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG standards of 2.0 level AA. Okay. There are two exceptions to this, like live captions, WCAG 1.2.4, and pre-recorded audio descriptions, WCAG 1.2.5, are exceptions to this. Okay, so it's WCAG 2.0 level AA that needs to be followed. But as an industry standard, we do adapt to WCAG 2.1 AA standards. Okay. All of Ontario, like all Ontario-based organizations, public and private, all of these sectors, they need to comply to this. So it applies to Ontario-based organizations, both public and private. So you can see here, accessible websites and web content. It gives you the requirements right there, and you see the guidelines, WCAG 2.0 level AA. So you'll find all of this under this regulation, okay, which is 191/11, which is also called the IASR, which is the Integrated Accessibility Standards Regulation. Okay, so you can read, come here and read all of this information that's in here. So it tells you about intranet websites, and just all the information that you need is right here. Other than this, what you also need to cover or what we can call as other key obligations would be to provide accessible formats and communication support on request, right? So there is an entire section for accessible format and communication supports. So you need to be able to provide this information. Also, there is a section for training. So train all staff on accessibility requirements. So there needs to be this component of training as a part of the requirement for AODA, that all staff be trained for accessibility. And then organizations with 20 employees and more must file an accessibility compliance report with the Ontario government. So that's required. If you are 20 employees or more, you will need to file a accessibility compliance report with the Ontarian government. The ACR is very similar to the WePAT, if you're familiar with WePAT. This is similar to that, so that needs to be created. Must have a multi-year accessibility plan reviewed every 5 years. So it's a good idea to have a review committee within your organization that would basically review all of the compliance, and it has to be every 5 years that you have a government review. But having a review done every year is a good idea within the organization. So you are keeping keeping all of your documentation, everything that you need to submit, everything is up to date. Your accessibility standards are up to date, etc. There are huge penalties. Okay. Now, a failure to comply to the AODA within Ontario has penalties. There are up to 50,000 per day for individuals, I think, and then about $100,000 per day for corporations should they not comply to the AODA requirements. So that's pretty much about AODA. If you need more information, you can come here and read. There's a lot written here. You can find it in English and in French. So you can go through all of this content and understand more. But as a nutshell, AODA is a Ontario requirement or law from the government, which follows the regulations of the 191/11, and you need to be able to comply to this. And the requirement for digital accessibility is for public and private sectors. For all organizations, there need to be trainings for staff. Any organization above 20 employees needs to submit an accessibility compliance report, which is similar to the WePAT, but this is to the Ontarian government. Also, there needs to be a review plan every 5 years and a multi-year accessibility plan in place. They also require that you provide all the accessibility documents in other and formats and communication supports on request. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, I hope it's clear, and you can come back here and learn more. Thank you so much for listening, and I would appreciate it if you could like, share, or subscribe, so it helps me. And thank you so much.